Welcome back to the All Things Real Estate Show with the Bald Brothers team at Impact Properties. I am Aaron Zapata.
And I am Todd Anderson.
You are. And so, what is your license, Todd?
020777325.
My license number is 01356534, and Impact Properties is 019226671. And please listen to the end because we've got a really nifty and important legal disclaimer.
That is important. We all love legal disclaimers.
Don't we? The fine print.
They're going to stick around to the very end. Just to listen to that. But you know what? You need to listen to the whole show because we're going to talk about a very important topic. Actually, we're going to talk a lot about the issue of downsizing. You know, when we think about real estate, oftentimes you think about moving up, getting a larger home, a larger lot as you're moving up in life. But you know, there's a very real fact is people need to downsize. And we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about a little bit some of the reasons why people are selling, some of the distress reasons that people find themselves in that causes them to sell as well.
Speaking of downsizing.
Yes.
For the uninformed, downsizing means what? It's a simple.
Means going down in size.
Down in size. Does that mean getting smaller, shrinking?
I wish in some cases that's what it was.
Yeah. So, but before we do that, let's just remind people that they can visit us online. You can go to baldbrothers.tv, which is our website where we have all of the links to every show that we've recorded and posted.
All of the things.
All of the things are there. You can also find our social media links, and you can start to follow us and connect with us. You can also ask us questions at baldbrothers.tv.
Yep.
And if that's not your sort of thing and you want to give us a call today at
833-305. Let's say it together. Bald.
B-A-L-D. Not a basketball, not a football, but bald as in follically challenged. I believe you said in the previous show.
That's right. We are follically challenged. 833-305-BALD. And we have an answering service that answers that 24 hours a day, 8 days a week. Wait, no, 7 days a week.
That's right. So
isn't that a song? That's a Beatles song, isn't it?
It is.
8 days
you can call it 2:28 a.m.
That's right.
Somebody will answer it.
We will not answer, but somebody will.
Right. There are some realtors that say they work 24/7. I don't know that that's actually true.
I don't think it's true.
Well, and here's the theory on that for me. I do my best thinking in the morning, and I know that if I'm trying to work on a file late at night, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I am actually more prone to make mistakes because I'm tired. I'm not thinking straight. And so you and I have a pretty routine schedule.
Yep.
You know, we typically answer the calls between 8 a.m. and 6 o'clock. If it's after that, sometimes we'll call back the next business day.
Yep.
And we're available 6 days a week, except for Sunday, Sundays by appointment. But it gives us the ability to really dive deep and do well during the day.
There are very few things that happen at 10 o'clock at night that can't wait until the next morning when it comes to a real estate transaction. I really cannot think of anything. So,
well, nothing can be solved.
Nothing can be solved at that time because nothing's open.
Decisions can be made.
Decisions can be made. That is true, but nothing can be solved or resolved.
That's right.
Until the next day. So
that's right. Anyway, side note.
Okay, let's get back on track. We are on track kind of guys. We keep things going. We keep things going. That's right. That's what you want with the Bald Brothers team. We keep things going. We want to talk about downsizing.
Well, and let's talk about that because that is one of many reasons why people are selling right now. You know, we are at a point in history where the inventory, the number of homes that we have for sale are lower than they've been ever.
Yes,
I talk with our vendors. I talk with the title companies. I talk with my realtors and people that we coach. And everybody's saying it is slower than it's ever been. And I've been in the business 20 years, and I'm saying that. That means there's not enough people that are selling their homes. So I was watching a video, and this guy clearly and eloquently said, look, we have an inventory problem because people are only selling for 3 reasons. They're selling for divorce, death, and distress.
The 3 Ds.
The 3 Ds.
Divorce, death, and distress. That's very true. The majority of the sales that we have seen recently have been for those 3 reasons. Other reasons as well, but those have been predominantly the number one reasons these days.
And distress can be defined as a number of things. It can be excessive debt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've got student loan payments that are coming due again. They're going to start coming due.
Yep.
And a lot of the people that bought during COVID with the low interest rates weren't paying student loan debt.
Yep.
And now on top of their payments, they're going to have to pay student loan debt.
Yep.
So that could cause debt and distress simultaneously.
That's right.
Right. We also have disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
People injure themselves. People age.
Mm-hmm.
And so it becomes a necessity to sell the home.
That's
We're
right.
going to talk about that today.
Yep.
In particular.
Some legal troubles sometimes.
Yeah.
Lawsuits, the various types of things that just cannot go away, can't be resolved without selling.
Right. We've got also job relocation.
We
have talked
big one.
extensively on this show about California corporations leaving California. We know that big announcements are great headlines. And I have an office in Tennessee, right? And I've moved a lot of people to Tennessee, some of them for jobs.
Yep.
And In-N-Out is moving, not their headquarters, but they've opened manufacturing and warehousing in Tennessee.
Yep.
So they can open restaurants there,
Yep.
which is like really cool. And so there are people that are moving out there because they're moving some key executives.
Yeah.
And there are other companies that are doing that. So job relocation and then job loss.
Yep.
If your company moves or closes their California location and you don't have a job lined up, it may be time to sell the home.
Yeah, and that falls under distress. Even if they're moving you, there still is a certain degree of distress because you have to move.
Right.
The job is forcing you.
So, Todd, you're in a very interesting phase of life.
Yeah, I don't
right
want
now.
to talk about it. Don't want to talk about it.
You got to talk about it. This is where we get to share
Yes.
our lives with complete strangers.
That's right.
Hoping that someday they will call us and say, we want you to sell our home. I remember that story.
Yep. Yeah.
Tell us about this new phase of life
You know,
that you and your wife find yourself in right now.
My wife, we have been married for 26 years.
Congratulations.
Just celebrated that a couple months ago. But when you've been married for 26 years, sometimes you have kids, and sometimes those kids grow up. And we have three daughters.
Todd, if you have kids most of the time, like almost all the time,
Almost
they grow
all
up.
the time.
You said sometimes they grow up. Like I don't know a kid that hasn't grown up.
Well, some would say that I never really fully grew up.
Well, that's true.
So
that's true.
But yeah, your kids grow up, and what do? If you've done things right, they grow up and they actually move out of the home. And that means you become what's popularly known as an empty nester.
Yes.
And we have three daughters. God gave us girls only. Now, God gave you boys,
We're
but he
setting
gave us
up a
girls.
GoFundMe account for Todd's wedding expenses henceforth.
Yeah, we've got one down. We got two to go, and I have a feeling that the remaining two are going to be even more expensive than the first wedding. But no, we've got one is married,
right?
And so she's out of the nest. They've got their own apartment not too far from us. Our second one is finishing off college. She's very rarely home, and she's getting an apartment nearby. And so she'll be moving back out. She was home for the summer, but she's moving back out. Our third daughter just graduated from high school, and she is going to be going to college. She's going to be moving to New York City.
New York City?
New York City, where they make, well, never mind. So she's going to be living in Manhattan. And so that means we're going to be empty nesters. And we live, our home has plenty of space. We've actually got 6 bedrooms. Not too many people have 6 bedrooms in their home. We've always wanted to have a home large enough to have an extra spare bedroom because my in-laws are from overseas. So we wanted to have extra space for people to stay when they're coming through. But you know what? That's too big for us. With kids moving out, it's more to clean. It's more costly. And it's a little bit lonely as well.
Yeah, when families go through this transition time, and I'm only at 1 year behind you.
Yeah.
I have 2 boys, and one is off in college in Kentucky. And as of right now, it looks like the second one's going to follow him.
Yep.
And so we'll have 2 kids in school out of state. But we are already experiencing those moments of empty nesting.
Yeah.
Because my youngest is a senior, and I know you experienced this too, but he's got friends and he's got activities.
Yeah.
And he's got things he's off doing, and he drives. And so many nights we find ourselves home alone.
Yep.
It's just my wife and I.
Yep.
We've been married 27 years, 2 kids, they're gone. what do you do when you have a big house? Well, before we do that, let's just remind people that you're listening to the All Things Real Estate Show with the Bald Brothers team. And you can look us up online at
baldbrothers.tv.
That's the website.
That is the website.
Don't go to .com.
Don't go to .com. It's a different, but we do have a .com address. You can find it by going to baldbrothers.tv. We learned early on, rather than just giving a whole list of places to find us, let's just have one site you can go to. You can find everything there. That's baldbrothers.tv, as in television.tv. You can also call us at 833-305-BALD. That's BALD with a D at the end of it, not an extra L. And we have an answering service that will answer 24 hours a day.
When you go to our website, you will find that we have a list of featured sponsors as well as affiliate sponsors. And we'd like to thank Beacon Escrow for sponsoring today's show. Beacon Escrow, as a seller, you get to choose your own escrow closing company. And we have talked about a lot of reasons regarding why you sell. And the escrow officer at Beacon Escrow has worked through escrows for every single one of the transactional reasons that we have discussed on today's show. Mm-hmm. So head over to beaconescrow.com to find out more information and to reach out to them.
Yep. When you're a seller, you always want to be in control of who the escrow company is.
That's right. So let's move on.
Yep. Let's move on. Talk about downsizing.
Downsizing.
Yep. So that's one of the reasons why people downsize. You know, it's too much home, too much house. There's emotional aspects of having too much space. And, you know, I remember something that my mother-in-law said years ago when our kids were young and they were making lots of noise. And our house has always been a very loud house I'm the only guy. A lot of talking, a lot of chatter, a lot of activity. And at one time we said, you know, it's just so chaotic. It's just so noisy here all the time. And my mother-in-law said, one day you will miss it. And I'm now realizing what that means.
Yes. When you said our house is a loud house, that song, Our House is a very, very, very loud house, came, you know, that's kind of the way I read it. I agree. It's quiet and you do miss it. But what are the semantics, Todd? We got to talk about somebody who right now is realizing that I'm living in a house that's too big. Mm-hmm. It's empty. It's lonely, but I'm holding on to it. What are some ways that we can walk that person through selling it and finding a replacement home?
Yeah. Well, a couple of things. Health is an important thing. And the older you get, the more you have health concerns. And when you have a large home and you're the only one there, it's much more to maintain and handle. Now, oftentimes a large home is also a 2-story home, sometimes even a 3-story home. Well, the older you get, the more difficult it can be to manage stairs. And even if you're not there yet, you need to understand that the reality is you will probably be there one day where just doing the stairs is too difficult. And so what we find is most people who are downsizing are also looking for single-level homes. By the way, if you own a single-level home, those retain a higher resale value.
Per square foot.
Per square foot, I should say, yes.
Yeah.
Per square foot. Tend to have a higher value because there's more desirability for it. And part of that comes from the number of people that are downsizing looking for a single level home.
So when you go to sell your home and you're downsizing, there's a couple options that you do have. You can sell the home and then you can move into a facility, which a lot of people are doing. In fact, I'm meeting with the family tomorrow where mom has just moved into facility. So now the home is empty. So the question is, do we sell it for that reason? But many people don't wait. They need to downsize. They need to sell first. So you can do that. You can also move into a smaller community, a smaller home.
Yeah.
And there are some tax laws in California that allow sellers of a certain age or older to move the previous property tax basis to the new home.
That's an important incentive.
It's a very important incentive because most people that are downsizing are on fixed incomes and they can't afford to increase in payment and they can't afford to increase in a mortgage payment or in a property tax payment.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is when you downsize, even though you're going to a smaller home, guaranteed the value of that home, the purchase price is going to be higher than what you originally paid for the first home. So, if being able to transfer that tax base over is huge.
Absolutely. So if you paid, $600,000 for the first home, or even you've had it for 30 years and you paid, $185,000, your property taxes are very, very low in California.
Yeah.
You end up buying a $900,000 house. Well, there is a provision that if you qualify for, and you can check with your professional advisors, that you can transfer that tax basis to the new one.
Mm-hmm.
So that is important for downsizers to understand.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is some people downsize and they move in with their children because they need the care. And now more than ever before, we see people downsizing into ADUs.
Yes, I was about to mention that. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, an ADU stands for auxiliary dwelling unit. And
it's not the German phrase "aju," "aju,"
or the sauce "aju."
Oh yes, no, it's not that either. Yeah,
yeah. So that is increasingly popular. And by the way, if you own a home and you are able to add an ADU on, which is much easier than it ever used to be in California,
absolutely,
that also increases the value of your home tremendously because people are looking for that.
Yeah.
But
so Todd, do you know anybody that can help homeowners add ADUs?
Do I know anybody who can help homeowners add? I know you're leading me with something, but I'm
yes.
missing it. Yes, I do. Is there a joke in there?
There's no joke.
Oh, okay.
There's no joke.
I thought there was a joke. We joke around so much. I just assumed there was a joke that I was going over my bald head.
Todd, I'm not joking.
Yes, we do.
We know contractors, right? People are listening. It's like, oh, ADU, I hadn't thought about that. Or now they're thinking about it and like, how in the world do I do that? You call us.
Yep.
We introduce you to contractors who can help you do that.
And how can they call us?
They can call us at 833-305-BALD, BALD. And when they call us, Todd, they're going to be asked their name, their phone number.
Yep.
They're going to be asked about a property address. Give us your address. That way we know what county you're in. We can do some research. Yep. We can help you ahead of time.
Yep.
So when we call you back, we can have a head start on that conversation.
Yeah. Give us a call because we have vendors in almost every single category that we work with that we can give recommendations on. So we can help you with that. But speaking of downsizing, that's one of the things that a lot of people are doing when they're downsizing. In fact, we had that recently for somebody who ended up being in an ADU, and they decided they actually took some time. I don't know if you remember this one, that they downsized, and then it was about a year or so before they actually went and then finally bought their replacement home. So there's a lot of different ways to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it involves stages.
Well, and what we're seeing right now is a real increase in popularity where the larger home is sold or cash is taken from that, and then ADU is built onto the property that the children have. Mm-hmm. And so they go and they live on the property where they can then be close to family and still free up the equity from the large home.
Yep.
So the other thing to do is the simultaneous close where you list your house and you make it contingent upon finding a replacement home. And then you get into escrow on your replacement home. And as a professional realtor, our team, we will correspond and work with everybody so that we can create a simultaneous closing.
Yep, we say close concurrently.
That's right. And then you basically close escrow on the first home, and then you move in, you close escrow on this next home, and you can move directly from one home to the other so that you're not homeless
for a period of time. And that's a real simple it seems complicated, but it's really not. And typically what will happen is the funds from one escrow will be wired the next day to the other escrow, and it's very seamless.
Now there is a risk in that because we had this happen recently where we represented the seller on a smaller home.
Yeah.
And the buyer buying it was downsizing. They were coming closer to family.
Yep.
They were downsizing it. They were in escrow on their other home. But they lost that buyer. And so there is some risk there, but it can be mitigated.
It can be mitigated, and if you're working with a realtor, preferably you're working with us, the Bald Brothers team, 833-305-BALD, baldbrothers.tv to get a hold of us. But hopefully the realtor that you're working with has put all of the safety measures in place to make sure that you are never going to be in a position where you are homeless.
And that's what happened, is that they weren't homeless.
Clarify that, please.
They wrote all the provisions in. And when they had to cancel, they did get their money back. And our seller knew that they needed to sell that property. And that's part of the negotiation.
Yeah.
So you should never have to worry if you do the paperwork properly on being forced out of your home if you can't find a place to go.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely crucial because most people say to you and me, I didn't know that I had those protections as a seller.
Yeah.
And you really do. As downsizing protection number one, make sure you have the right paperwork so you don't end up homeless.
Yeah, and let's face it, selling your home, see, Aaron, you and I do this all day long, every day. So we're used to the process of selling a home. But the fact is, selling the home is a very stressful and emotional affair.
Yeah.
And it can be very scary, especially if you're in a position of downsizing. Let's say you've lived in the home 40 years, and that's a big step. And so to downsize and to be in a position where all of these things are happening can be a very scary thing. And so you want to work with somebody that is able to really understand those emotional aspects, as we are able to understand those, or in cases where we can't understand, at least to have that sympathetic ear. And our job is to make things as seamless as possible.
Well, and one of the things that we help our clients through is that emotional attachment.
Yeah.
We understand it's hard.
Yeah.
We understand there are memories that were created in homes.
Yep.
I have walked through homes with clients that are literally crying because they're leaving behind, this place where they've made all those memories, where they've raised their families. And one of the things that's helpful is to realize that, memories are in our mind. They're not in the home.
That's a good quote.
Thank you.
Say that again, Aaron.
Memories are in our mind. They're not in the home.
Yeah.
The home may be a place where they happened, but we take those memories with us. And it is a very important step to emotionally detach, knowing that you're going to take your memories with you.
Yeah.
The house may be left behind. But you're going to move forward.
So today's episode is therapy for Todd, because we started out talking about the fact that my wife and I are realizing we are going to be in a position where we need to downsize. Now, by the time this episode airs, we will be empty nesters, because Zoe, our youngest daughter, will be in college, and we will be empty nesters. But I think we're probably going to hang on a little bit, because they'll be coming home during the summer, and but we are going to be at that position where we have to realize, what was that quote? Memories are in your mind, not the home.
That's right.
I like that.
And there are some people that downsize very quickly at your stage.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the kids to come home.
That's right.
It's true. It's true.
That's right.
We've had those calls, Todd.
That's right.
We've had people saying, my kids are in college, and we're out of here. Yeah. We're selling the house because we don't want to have the boomerang child. And if that's the case where you find yourself, we here at the Bald Brothers team, we specialize in working with clients, with homeowners here in Southern California, and we do this full time. I even joke that it's my full-time and my part-time job. Because it really is 6 and 7 days a week at times. And so we want to help you prepare your home. We want to walk you through the steps. We want to advise you in your particular situation. And if you're listening to this and you're not our client, we're not giving you advice.
That's right.
Please
very important.
Check in with your legal advisor and listen closely to that legal disclaimer at the end of the show, because it just says that again. But Todd, what should they do if they want to sell their home? How can they get in touch with us?
They should give us a call or go to our website. Our website is baldbrothers.tv, and you can give us a call at 833-305-BALD, 833-305-BALD.
That's right. And if you are able to look us up on our website, you'll see that there are other links there. And wherever you are listening to the show, we'd encourage you to leave us a 5-star comment, a 5-star review, and comment, subscribe, like, share. And if you found this particularly helpful, we would love to hear from you. And if you have questions or things you'd like us to cover on this show, please send them our way.
Give us a call.
God bless you, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to the All Things Real Estate Show. The Bald Brothers team is a licensed DBA of Impact Properties, Inc., licensed by the California Department of Real Estate number 019226671. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice, and we do encourage you to seek the advice of the proper professionals. If you'd like to reach us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv. Equal housing opportunity.